The property is 243 hectares, 600 acres, of which about 219 is effective hectares. And in that 219 there's also a lot of rocky outcrops as well.
It's rolling to steep. The contour is a big limitation on what we can do, to the extent where we only can crop probably, well, for silage and hay, 15 to 20% per year.
It's mire ash soil, and it varies in depth from sort of half a metre to 2 or 3 metres. It's a reasonably forgiving soil, but having said that, the farm is getting very fertile now, and it's very hard to manage in the winter. It's very soft. We use a standoff pad in the winter and try and avoid doing damaging the hills as much as possible. It's very important. Well, we have some trees on the property that were planted years ago that we've got these trees available to chip, and they go onto the standoff pad. And then at the end of the season or partway through the winter, we'll clean the standoff pad off with a digger. The waste off the pad gets put back onto the paddocks.
The farm's got a lot of limestone outcrops, a lot of tomos, so we try and fence the tomos off when we find them, but they form quite quickly. As for the cropping side of it, a lot of the paddocks with the rocks in it we can't crop, purely because any machine that hits those limestone, well, they'll pretty much get blown to smithereens because it doesn't move. So yeah, we're quite limited to what we can crop for maize, for turnips, and what we can mow.
The effluent system, we have got a tractor powered PTO pump. We have 900 metres of 4-inch PVC buried. We have 4 hydrants off that, and then off the hydrants we run 90 ml alkathene we run 2 cannons as well, so we can actually run 2 cannons at once, and we try and get as much effluent onto the sidlings as possible. But due to the dry conditions, production is down. I would envisage at this stage we'll probably do between 150 and 160,000 milk solids. Our best production was 164, which was done last year with the new share milkers. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what Mother Nature does to us, I suppose. There was 2 existing ponds there, and the water used to disappear into the limestone, so we did away with the 2 ponds and we've built 1 large pond. Hopefully they'll fill up in the next few months. We have a limited water supply on the property, so that will be a backup water supply in the dry summer. When we bought the property up, the P levels on the property were in single figures.
Yeah.
And over the years we've put a lot of phosphate on, and we're currently our P levels are in the 30 to 40 range, which is plenty high enough. So we've actually buttoned off slightly on the P. We're trying to get our pH up to about that 6. Our K levels tend to be fairly low after the winter months because the K tends to move around in the soil. So this year we're putting on about 60 units of K and probably about 20 units of P. Well, I'm a real fan of having shade for the cows, so every winter we try and plant trees, and we've got a lot of trees out in the centre in the middle of paddocks, so cows can have access to shade. We initially planted Chinese poplars, the Unionensis, but we've found that they actually get too big, so that's what was going through the chipper today, the Unionensis. And we've since been planting kawas, and they seem a very good tree, and we will plant more trees as the years go by, and just try and get as much shade out there as possible.
So do you enjoy it here?
I love it. It's very challenging, but when things go right it's good. But yeah, the last couple of winters have been pretty wet, springs have been pretty wet, the summers have been pretty dry. So yeah, it's quite a big balancing act to try to do what we plan. We plan everything in the winter for what we're going to do for the year with crops, harvesting and such, but when Mother Nature does what she's been doing the last 2 years, it throws our plans out, so it's really affecting the production, not hugely, but we can't do what we want because of the climate starting to affect us a bit.
The farm's a business, but it's also, the lifestyle is very important to us. Making lots of money is not the driver. It's important that we have a good relationship with our share milker, having happy staff, having happy cows, that's very important to us, and caring for the land, that's a biggie. So the 3 sort of go hand in hand really, and the money will come once you've got all those in place. Really, it'll just happen. So that's really important to us as owners, that we've got a good relationship with our share milker. Yeah.